Imagine a being so powerful they can walk into the halls of Asgard and dare to threaten all the gods without any fear. So powerful, in fact, that Loki, the god of mischief, tied his testicles to a goat to avoid her wrath. Wrap up warm as we meet this frosty primordial force of Norse mythology. Welcome to the mysteries of mythology, Skadi. In Jotunheim's heart, amidst howling winds and snow-clad peaks of the icy wilderness, stands Skadi, the enigmatic and formidable mountain huntress, reigning over a realm where the cold bites and wolves howl. Daughter of the slain giant Thiazi, she strides with skis and bow, her gaze as piercing as the winter frost. Skadi is a unique blend of divinity and primordial force in Norse mythology. She is not an Aesir goddess, she is a Jotun, a being of the ancient world, embodying the raw power of nature. The Jotnar are often referred to as giants, but they were more like a rival family, similar beings to the Aesir gods such as Odin and Thor. But the Jotnar were more connected to the wild forces of nature, unlike the orderly regiment of the Aesir. Fun fact: the name Jotnar better translates to the word devourers, associated with darkness, cold, and death. Speaking of death, Skadi's best-known story sadly starts with the death of her father, Thiazi, at the hands of the Aesir gods. To be fair to the Aesir, Thiazi had kidnapped one of their own, Idun, for her apples of immortality. He was killed while chasing Loki, who was attempting to rescue her. Upon learning of her father's death, Skadi, fueled by a desire for retribution, armed herself and set out for Asgard, the realm of the gods. In the frozen reaches of the ancient world, where the mountains kissed the sky and the snow whispered secrets of old, there lived Skadi, a formidable Jotun and a goddess of the wild. Her heart, as unyielding as the icy peak she roamed, sought vengeance for her father Thiazi, whose life was claimed by the gods of Asgard. Clad in shimmering armor, with a sword reflecting the cold light of the north, Skadi made her way to the home of the gods. As she strode through the golden gates of Asgard, her presence was as commanding as the mountains she hailed from. The gods, aware of her purpose and power, sought to quell her wrath with an offering as ancient as their realms, a union of marriage. But her choice was to be made in an unusual manner, by the sight of the gods' feet alone. In a chamber behind a curtain stood a line of divine feet. Skadi's gaze fell upon a pair that seemed to her the embodiment of grace and fairness. She believed these feet to belong to Balder, the most beautiful of the gods, a husband who would surely soften the loss of her father. But as the curtain was drawn, it wasn't Balder who belonged to the feet, but another god. The feet were clean and soft from the considerable time he spent walking on the shores of Asgard. The owner of those feet was not Balder, but Njörður, the god of the sea, a being as different from her as the sea is from the mountains. With vengeance still in her heart, the gods had to fulfill their second promise, to make Skadi laugh. Charged with the task, Loki ties one end of a rope to the beard of a goat and the other end to his testicles. Then, playing a tug-of-war with the goat, Loki loses and lands crying into the lap of Skadi, leaving Skadi with no choice but to release a burst of laughter, a sound as rare and beautiful as the first thaw of spring. This laughter, echoing through the halls of Asgard, completed her atonement, weaving a moment of lightness into her tale of revenge and loss. To cement the peace between Skadi and the gods, Odin takes the eyes of her father Thiazi and throws them into the sky, where they become stars till the end of time. The union of Skadi and Njörður was a convergence of two worlds, the untamed majesty of the snowy mountains and the boundless mystery of the ocean depths. Yet, like a storm clashing with the calm, their differences soon became too vast. Skadi's soul yearned for the echoing stillness of the snow-clad peaks of her homeland, while Njörðr's heart ached for the soothing whispers of the sea waves. With their marriage, Skadi was no longer considered a Jotun, but was now, like her husband, a Vanir god. She was said to enjoy being the stepmother of her new stepchildren Freyr and Freyja, but her marriage to Njörðr was a loveless one. Njörðr complained that he did not want to live in the cold, dark peaks of the mountains, and that the howl of wolves was disturbing his sleep. In turn, Skadi complained about the screech of gulls in the morning. Their marriage, a fleeting convergence of mountain and sea, eventually succumbed to their true natures, leading them to part ways, each returning to their beloved realms. As the timeline of Norse mythology unfolds, the story reintroduces Skadi in the dramatic setting of Lokasenna. The scene is set at a grand feast hosted by Aegir. Among the esteemed attendees are Njörðr and Skadi. In Lokasenna, Skadi emerges not just as a spectator, but as a participant in the unfolding drama. Loki, being his classic self, insults the gods at the feast. Skadi, whose veins still flow with the fierce blood of the Jotun, confronts Loki, warning him of his impending doom if he continues with his insults. She threatens to bind him to the rocks with the cold entrails of his son. Loki's response is typical of his sharp tongue, as he recalls being first and foremost at the killing of Thiazi, Skadi's father, and makes a provocative, unfounded claim that Skadi was once in his bed, a baseless accusation he hurls at many goddesses. After being caught by the gods, true to Skadi's word, Loki is bound with the entrails of his son Nari. In a malicious act of retribution, Skadi places a venomous snake above Loki's face. The venom drips continuously, and it's only when Loki's wife, Sigyn, catches the venom in a basin that he finds a moment's respite. However, whenever Sigyn empties the basin, the venom falls onto Loki, causing him immense agony and resulting in earthquakes in the mortal world. Skadi's essence is deeply intertwined with the stark, untamed landscapes of winter and the mountains. She's the embodiment of the hunter's spirit, the silence of snow-covered forests, and the relentless pursuit of prey. The name Skadi in Norse mythology is believed to be derived from the Old Norse term skada, which translates to damage or harm. This name is linked to the concept of shadow, resonating with her role as a winter goddess and a symbol of nature's untamed forces. This isn't unusual, as all Jotuns had threatening-sounding names. Skadi's tale in Norse mythology weaves together themes of vengeance, resilience, and the indomitable spirit of nature. From her bold entrance into Asgard to seek justice for her father's death, to her tumultuous marriage with Njörðr and her pivotal role in the punishment of Loki, Skadi embodies the fierce and untamed essence of the winter and the mountains. There are more gods, more myths, and more magic to explore. Subscribe and join me as we unveil the next chapter in the mysteries of mythology.